Hi, You Can Heal family. Here we go. Another morning. Well, for me, it's evening, but another morning together, reading and hearing the Word of God. We're in Numbers and we're pushing right along because this book has 35 chapters. And I'm sorry, 36 chapters. And today we're reading chapter 32. So I'm really getting excited about moving along here. So Brenda's at Brenda's at ballet, and Blessing and I just spent some time together. She's hilarious. She always picks on me, and I don't know. It's just interesting. I don't know. What am I trying to say, You Can Heal family? She's a senior, and our time is almost up together, and she's moving along to the next chapter of her life, heading off to college in August. So yeah. You kind of cherish those times as a mom, even though these kids will work your nerves, right? To all the parents out there. So anywho, let's get going here. Numbers chapter 32, division of the land east of the Jordan. Now, the tribes of Reuben and Gad owned vast numbers of livestock. So when they saw that the lands of Jazer and Gilead were ideally suited for their flocks and herds, they came to Moses, Eleazar the priest, and the other leaders of the people. They said, Ataroth, Dibon, Jazer, Nimrah, Heshbon, Elealeh, Zimbam, Nebo, and Beon. The Lord has conquered this whole area for the people of Israel. It is ideally suited for all our flocks and herds. If we have found favor with you, please let us have this land as our property instead of giving us land across the Jordan River. Hold on, I need some water. Excuse me. Do you mean you want to stay back here while your brothers go across and do all the fighting? Moses asked the Reubenites and Gadites. Are you trying to discourage the rest of the people of Israel from going across to the land the Lord has given them? This is what your ancestors did when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to explore the land. After they went up to the valley of Eshcol and scouted the land, they discouraged the people of Israel from entering the land the Lord was giving them. Then the Lord was furious with them, and he vowed, of all those I rescued from Egypt, no one who is 20 years old or older will ever see the land I solemnly promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for they have not obeyed me completely. Oh, I was just reminiscing about the days of reading about Isaac and Jacob and all the scandals. Okay, verse 12. The only exceptions are Caleb, son of Jephunneh, the Kizanite, and Joshua, son of Nun, for they have wholeheartedly followed the Lord. Of all those people, those are the only two getting in. See, it just makes more sense to follow the Lord and to just be in this heavenly kingdom and not caught up in this world. Verse 13. The Lord was furious with Israel and made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years until the whole generation that sinned against him had died. Now, see, I always thought, well, I guess it did take 40 years, but this reads to me like the Lord just had them going in circles on purpose. So it had to take that long, I guess, for the generation to die. Oh, how awful. How awful. But here you are, a brood of sinners doing exactly the same thing. You are making the Lord even angrier with Israel. If you turn away from him like this, and he abandons them again in the wilderness, you will be responsible for destroying this entire nation. But they responded to Moses, we simply want to build sheepfolds for our flocks and fortified cities for our wives and children. Then we will arm ourselves and lead our fellow Israelites into battle until we have brought them safely to their inheritance. Meanwhile, our families will stay in the fortified cities we build here, so they will be safe from any attacks by the local people. Verse 18, we will not return to our homes until all the people of Israel have received their inheritance of land. But we do not want any of the land on the other side of the Jordan. We would rather live here on the east side, where we have received our inheritance. Then Moses said, if you keep your word and arm yourselves for the Lord's battles, and if your troops cross the Jordan until the Lord has driven out his enemies, then you may return when the land is finally subdued before the Lord. You will have discharged your duty to the Lord and to the rest of the people of Israel. And the land on the east side of the Jordan will be inheritance from the Lord. But if you fail to keep your word, then you will have sinned against the Lord. You may be sure that your sin will find you out. Go ahead and build towns for your families and sheepfolds for your flocks, but do everything you have said. So when I just read verse 23, and I'm pulling it out of context a little bit, but kind of not really, when it just says, your sin will always find you out. And we might think we're getting away with things, but God always has a way of things coming to the light. So just keep that in mind, when you're going about your life. If you're truly God's own, things are going to come to light. Because he wants to free you, right? He wants you out of bondage. And he wants you whole. So that's what I'm thinking about when I read that scripture, that verse. So verse 25 says, then the people of Gad and Reuben replied, we are your servants and will follow your instructions exactly. Our children, wives, flocks, and cattle will stay here in the towns of Gilead. But, sir, all who are able to bear arms will cross over to fight for the Lord, just as you have said. So Moses gave orders to Eleazar, Joshua, and the tribal leaders of Israel. He said, if all the men of Gad and Reuben who are able to fight the Lord's battles cross the Jordan with you, then, when the land is conquered, you must give them the land of Gilead as their property. But if they refuse to cross over and march ahead of you, then they must accept land with the rest of you in the land of Canaan. The tribes of Gad and Reuben said again, sir, we will do as the Lord has commanded. We will cross the Jordan into Canaan fully armed to fight for the Lord, but our inheritance of land will be here on this side of the Jordan. So Moses assigned to the tribes of Gad, Reuben, and half the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, the territory of King Sihon of the Amorites, and the land of King Og of Bashan, the whole land with its towns and surrounding lands. Verse 34, the people of God built the towns of Dibon, Ataroth, Aroer, Atroth, Shopin, Jazar, Jogabah, Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran. These were all fortified cities with sheepfolds for their flocks. The people of Reuben built the towns of Heshbon, Elilah, Kiriathaim, Nebo, Baal Meon, and Zibmah. They changed the names of some of the towns they conquered and rebuilt. Then the descendants of Machir of the tribe of Manasseh went to Gilead and conquered it, and they drove out the Amorites who were living there. So Moses gave Gilead to the Machirites, descendants of Manasseh, and they lived there. The people of Jair, another clan of the tribe of Manasseh, captured many of the towns in Gilead and changed the name of that region to the towns of Jair. Meanwhile, a man named Noba captured the town of Kenath and its surrounding villages, and he renamed that area Noba after himself. And that's it. That's chapter 32. You Can Heal Family. We did it. We're one step closer to reading the entire Old Testament. And as I was reading, you know how your mind wanders, I was just thinking, I'm really going to do this. I'm really going to finish this Old Testament. And I'm looking here, that's a lot of pages, but I'm just thankful that I'm not alone. It's so much better doing things together and being on this journey with you guys. I got a text message today from one of my You Can Heal family members, and it was such a sweet message. And, it just made me realize God places people in our lives at certain times for a reason, and the message was super sweet, and I'm just very thankful, very thankful. So yeah, I am. Everybody take a deep breath and settle down and just have a glorious day today. Just be filled with the Spirit. Don't walk in the flesh, walk after the Spirit, and do something good for someone today. A little act of kindness goes a long way. We'll talk tomorrow. Always remember, true healing begins with self-love. Why? Because God is love, and He lives on the inside of you. Bye.